little more. And if you have your browser over at supertalk.fm/watch, you will see I am not alone in the studio today. I actually have a beautiful young woman with me here, Miss Gracie Bassett. She is your 2021 Mississippi Distinguished Young Woman, and she is preparing to go to Meridian next week so she can pass the medallion to the next DYW is what I am learning, all the acronyms, Gracie. But you're here to sort of talk about it because we often talk pageants here on Good Things, all our different crowns, but sometimes we leave out the Distinguished Young Woman. So we want to make sure you have your time to shine for that organization. So welcome. First, let me say welcome.
Thank you.
And second, just give us a little background because those listening to Good Things are probably thinking, was that Junior Miss? And yes, it is formerly known as Junior Miss, but it's now Distinguished Young Woman. So how does it kind of differ from other pageants?
Well, the biggest distinction is that in Distinguished Young Women, girls are not judged on outward beauty. There is instead a high emphasis on interview ability, scholastic achievement, and community involvement. We are strictly a scholarship organization, so you don't have to be the pageant type to participate or succeed in DYW.
And how long has this organization been going on?
It was America's Junior Miss was founded in 1958. Before that, it had some history as the Azalea Trailmaids pageant back in Mobile, Alabama. And the Azalea Trailmaids program was the first scholarship program for high school senior girls in America at that time. So it was a big deal. Put yourself in the shoes of, a college-bound girl at that time who really didn't have a lot of opportunities for scholarships. So that was how, over the years, some people saw the need to make this a national program because they were getting interest from places outside of Mobile. And so America's Junior Miss was born in 1958, and then in 2010, the name was changed to Distinguished Young Women to better reflect the program's mission and purpose of providing scholarships to young women.
And I think the good thing to highlight there underscores the fact that you guys are still in high school when y'all compete in this pageant, where most of the Miss Mississippis, they have already graduated, they're already starting their college career, they're sort of in a different stage or phase of life. So what is the age range for the DYW?
So there are local programs, there are state programs, and there is a national program. You can apply to be in your local program when you are a junior in high school. So if you are a rising junior, if you've just finished your sophomore year, now is your time. If you're in the class of 2023, it's coming for you. Then after local representatives are selected, you will participate in the state program the summer before your senior year, which is about to happen next week. And then once state representatives are selected, you will participate in the national program.
Which is where you just came back from a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
I follow you on the Instagram. So you represented Mississippi so well in that pageant. So let's go back to your junior year. I'm assuming now, Gracie, are you going into your senior year or have you graduated high school?
I've graduated.
So you have graduated. So when you first got into the Distinguished Young Woman program, were you a junior in high school?
I was a junior.
What encouraged you to step out and do something as, to me is scary, as a pageant?
Well, I was not the pageant type. I had never done Beauty and Beau. I'd never done Outstanding Teen or any of the other really well-established programs. DYW was the first thing of its type that I had done, and I'm so glad I did. I was first exposed to it when I was about 12. I had some family friends who started doing the program, and they only had the best things to say about it, which made me really excited. And I was like, well, maybe this is something that I want to try when I get older. I was always a very driven child, and so I was always the type, I want to get as many scholarships as I can for college. So that was how I made my decision. I was like, this is a good opportunity for me to get scholarship money, and I want to do it. I don't have to fit a certain mold or be the pageant girl to succeed. So when I became a junior, I participated in my Madison County local program, and the rest is history.
The rest is history. So is this fair to say, Gracie, was this your first time on stage in terms of a pageant?
In terms of a pageant-like program, yes. I had done competitive cheer and piano competitions before, so I had practiced being on the stage. but nothing like a scholarship program.
Right. Well, I admire just the fact that you had the courage to do that. And I admire all the young women who try out for DYW, or even back in the day, if you're still scratching your head, yes, it's junior miss. Now I know where the junior came from. It's your junior year of high school. Because, yeah, that can be a very awkward feeling if you've never been in front of a stage and a dress and going through all the things. You mentioned piano, so I know that there is a talent portion to DYW. But what are the other components other than just a pretty dress?
You will participate in interview, which is 25% of your score, scholastics, which is 25%, talent, which is 20%, fitness, and self-expression, which are both 15%. So your self-expression, most people aren't familiar with what that is. That's like your on-stage question, for lack of better words.
So I got to go back and sort of watch, and the fact we're going to get into the fact that last year was very unique, when you had to go for the state representative because it was virtual. Mm-hmm. Anyway, your question, your own stage question, you walk up in this gorgeous dress and you have to pick a question off of the table, which to me is like terrifying, which I guess that also is very similar to pulling it out of the bowl, but we are or in the middle of a pandemic. Now I understand that part. How does the lady who then responds with your question know which one you picked up? Because I thought that was a little bit of wizardry there. I was like, she didn't even talk to her. How did she know which question she chose? So what's the behind the scenes of how that happened?
To make you feel better, there were so many people who asked that same question. They were so confused.
I'm like, did y'all have code words or like a code sign or something?
So on each card, there's this little sticker that has a color on it in the corner of each one. And I think there were like 4 on the table. And so when she would see me pick up a card, she would see which color it was, and she had the corresponding question.
So, and God forbid she have a Steve Harvey moment and say the wrong name or the wrong question, because you have to think about the answer from the moment, Gracie, you see it till you walk to the mic, which that has to be the shortest walk in your entire life, and then you actually have to share your answer. So at this time, you're 16, 17, or this past year, I guess you're 17 or 18. How do you prepare for the tough questions that come with the DYW? Because they had some pretty, very timely, sort of intense, could go either way kind of questions. So how do you prepare for those?
The best thing for me to remember whenever I'm practicing for an interview or self-expression is to remember that they can't judge me on my opinion. They can judge me on how I present my opinion. So the best thing that's most helpful for me is be yourself. Don't tell them what you think they want you to hear. Be who you are, and don't be ashamed of that. So, you keep up with the news. You read the newspaper if you get it. You watch the news. You look at the news app on your phone. You have to keep up with current events, or else you're not going to know what's going on in the world. And beyond that, you can give the judges a Biosheet of, your role models and your favorite XYZ, your interests, your future goals for your interview. So once you give them that bio sheet, anything that you put down is fair game. So you have to know what you put down backwards and forwards like the back of your hand. So just knowing those things about myself and knowing what's going on in the world around me is how I prepare.
I would say even just the benefit of a young woman at this age going through this process, just having to focus on who you are, what do you believe in, even though your thoughts and your beliefs obviously can change and should change from 17 or 18, Gracie, no offense, till 28 and 38. But I feel like there's a lot of students your age that haven't thought role models through, haven't thought stances on things through. Not that they have to be with a period in, hard ink, but just, really thoughtfully thought them through. I'm curious, who were your role models that you put down, if you don't mind sharing?
We had historical role models and we had contemporary role models. My historical role models were Socrates and C.S. Lewis. I'm a huge I love philosophy person, super nerdy. I love it. For my contemporaries, I put down Jessica Conte. She's less widely known. She's a Instagram influencer, but very positive, which is why I like to keep up with her. And then I put down Hazel Scott, who is an African-American jazz pianist back in the 20th century when it was basically impossible for an African-American female to succeed in the entertainment industry. She just shattered glass ceilings, and I admire her for that. So those were my 2 contemporary role models.
Pretty impressive, Gracie. And I'm sure that connects to the love of piano, which was your talent that you performed. What song did you play?
For my local
or either one.
State. Okay.
for state, because I think that's the one I watched.
Okay.
And the beautiful green dress.
So for my state program, I played Whitewater Chopsticks by Calvin Jones. Some people might have heard it before if they watched Miss America around, I think it was about 2012. Teresa Scanlon played it from Nebraska, and she won Miss America with that piece. So.
And Miss Gracie, you won with your piece, which was the 2021 Mississippi Distinguished Young Woman. We've got more with Gracie Bassett. And if you have a young woman in your family, I'd say a young girl, because it's the age of 16 or 17 in high school, then she may want to look into the Mississippi Distinguished Young Women's Organization. And they are rounding up to have their 2021 Pass of the Medallion coming up next week. And joining us here on Good Things is your 2021 title holder, Miss Gracie Bassett. So what were we listening to, Gracie? Your eyes just lit up when Rhino played the music coming in to Good Things. So what was that?
It was Whitewater Chopsticks by Calvin Jones. I played that for the state program and for the national program as my talent.
So people get the opportunity, because last year was virtual, a little bit different, to go back and view it. I got to watch it before you joined us. You were in this beautiful emerald green getup. I don't know where else you would wear it other than to sit on a piano. And I thought, oh my God, how did you find that? Where did you figure it out? And you got a cool story about where your outfit came from. So where did your outfit for the piano and state come from?
So I looked place after place after place and could not find something that I wanted to wear out on stage. And I was actually at that point looking at it for my local program. So I hadn't even gone through my first DYW program at that point. And then I come across this consignment store. It's Private Collection on Highway 51. Shout out to you guys. They had this beautiful emerald green dress, and I was hesitant to try it on because I was like, emerald green's not really my color. I don't think I can pull it off.
Lies.
And
your
then,
color.
And then I put it on, and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever worn.
Yes, I would be eating it sitting in the dinner table, or like eating, my chicken tenders and French fries with it if I had that.
It was so fun.
It was so fun. Okay, and you did the same piece, but maybe in a different outfit for nationals, or did you keep the same?
I kept
the
look? Outfit.
All right. And so if we got to experience that, if we go back and watch, what's a little behind the scenes of you playing the piano on the national stage?
We had to record virtually for nationals. The Riley Center in Meridian was so generous to let me record my onstage portions there. I'm very grateful for them for all their help. So when I recorded my piano piece, I had actually broken my finger at cheer practice about a week or two before.
Did you freak out when you broke it?
Yeah, kind of. I was on the way home and I called my mom. I was like, Mama, I think I broke my finger at cheer.
Which is like the worst thing for a pianist to break.
For a pianist to break, yeah. So I broke it and it started healing really quickly, thankfully. And so by the time that I recorded my piano piece, it really wasn't in any pain. That's kind of a miracle in itself.
And adrenaline and everything sort of going through that.
Exactly.
And I'm sure you've got a little bit of adrenaline going into next week. Okay, so last year was all virtual thanks to COVID. What will next week look like? Or is it still going to be kind of a hybrid? Or what will next week's competition look like?
Next week's competition is going to be fully live and in person. And I cannot stress how excited I am about this, because not only are the class of 2022 getting to experience their state week for the first time, but I am too, right along with them. Like, we're going through all of this together at the same time, and I'm so thrilled. We're going to be having community service projects, a little red carpet party, some projects around town, just getting to have that state week experience, doing rehearsals, and then getting ready for the shows on the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th.
When you say around town, you're talking about Meridian, Mississippi.
Meridian, Mississippi.
So if they're listening to Good Things, they live in that area, then they see a bunch of pretty young women out doing service projects, they should honk their horn. Well, that may not be appropriate. Or at least ask what they're doing or come out and watch the show. So they get to watch the show this year. So where's it going to be?
It will be held at the Evangel Temple in Meridian. The preliminary shows on the 22nd and 23rd are going to be at 7:30 both nights. And then the final show on Saturday, the 24th, is going to start at 8 p.m. And there really is no better way to figure out if you would be interested in participating in DYW than coming out to watch the live show.
And I think that's a good thing to also remember, even though this is the 2022 season or however it may be, I'm sure they're already taking applications or getting geared up for the 2023 season, which sounds crazy to even start thinking that far in advance. But, if you have a young lady or a young girl at your house, when they're going to be a junior, which you mentioned 2023, if they're listening to good things and they think, oh, this sounds like a good fit for my daughter or my niece or whomever it may be, how do they start that application process? Where do they go?
Go to distinguishedYW.org. So that's distinguishedYW.org. You can read more about the program, about the areas of competition, and put in your application. And it's free to apply, which is a huge deal because there is so much money that you can earn from this competition that it's insane to think that you don't have to pay a penny to put your name in for it. So then once your application is in, then your local directors will contact you and get you involved with a local or an at-large program.
So let's talk about the scholarships, because this is a scholarship program. We are talking about Mississippi's Distinguished Young Women's Program. It is a pageant or a competition, but it is a scholarship program, set up like a pageant, but it provides scholarships. So what'd you walk away with? I mean, I know it's not always classy to talk about money, but that's the big draw. Like, what did you walk away with, Gracie?
I have almost $10,000 in cash scholarships. And then as of my time after the national program, I have had offers to over 30 colleges and universities around the country to go on either full or partially paid scholarships granted by those colleges. So in total,
that's pretty impressive.
In total, when you combine the college offers and these cash scholarships, it ends up being over $720,000.
Good Lord. And for someone who had never even been on stage in this format before. Right. Okay, so take all the big wins away, because that's one thing people say about these types of competitions is there's only one winner at the end. One girl gets a medallion, right? Mm-hmm. But even if you hadn't walked away, Gracie, as the winner, what did you gain from the experience of just being part of the Distinguished Young Women's Program?
Well, I can say that I've been there before. I've been that girl. I didn't walk away from the national program with the national title, but I can wholeheartedly say that I am a much more well-rounded person as a result of participating in it. So not only do you have the opportunity to win scholarships, but you also have the opportunity to participate in life skills workshops, learn how to write college essays, learn how to interview for jobs, learn how to manage your money. You also get a huge boost of self-confidence by participating in this program with other girls and being around other empowered women who want to see you succeed.
So talking about succeed, I feel like you're going to succeed at whatever you do, Gracie Bassett. But what is next for you? Where are you putting all of your winnings? Now that you've graduated, where do you start in the fall, or are you starting in the fall?
I am starting in the fall. I will be attending Mississippi College as part of their Honors College program. Right now, the plan is to major in biology on the pre-medical track, but we'll see where I go from there.
Oh, absolutely. You definitely do not have to have that hard whatever. Are you taking your green dress with you?
I hope to take my green dress with me.
Well, and I hope that there are families listening to Good Things, because, certain things just get sometimes negative light shone on them, and sometimes these type of competitions do. But you hear from the girls time and time again who have gone through, whether it's Junior Miss, which is now Mississippi Distinguished Young Woman, or, other tracks, and the skills and the things that they garner from being around these organizations all seem positive to me. For sure. Piano, though, is obviously your talent. When did you first nestle up to a piano to learn? When did you first start taking lessons?
I started lessons at 6 years old, and I've loved it ever since.
Are you going to continue to play even though maybe is your competing years over, or do you feel like more pageants are in your or competitions in your future?
My piano competition years are over, but we'll see if I want to join some pageants in the future. If I do, it would be my first time in a true pageant, because DYW is not a pageant.
Right. I keep using the P word, and I'm like, but it feels like one. But I know it's not one.
It's complicated.
Walking myself back with it. It's a scholarship program, but you still get to wear the pretty dresses and do the things. I think you'll excel at whatever you do. But going back to it, DYW is a scholarship program, and those scholarships don't just grow on trees. So if someone's listening and has a vested interest in it, how can they get involved?
go to distinguishedyw.org and put in your application. Also, if you are interested in donating to the scholarship funds, we always could use more scholarships. So if your business wants to sponsor in kind or sponsor financially, you can go on that website and figure out which program to give to, and they would really, really, really appreciate it. But definitely, if you are a junior, a rising junior in high school, and if this is something that you would be interested in, go to distinguishedyw.org. Look at the program, fill out an application. It is free. I've never, of all the people that I've talked to, I've traveled the state this year. Of all the people that I've talked to, I've never met somebody who did it and wishes that they hadn't. But I've met a lot of people who didn't do DYW and they wish that they had. So don't live with that regret.
Right.
Go chase that dream.
Go chase that dream, and then you will have a woman over there who has the skill to see whether you got a red, blue, or whatever question and leave us all mesmerized at home, sort of watching. Well, I know we're all mesmerized by you, Gracie Bassett, and you'll have to come back because the sky is the limit for whatever you choose. So best of luck to you and the ladies next week as well. But you guys stick with us. We got more for you coming up next here on